The media would lead you to believe your turkey can look like this. Deep mahogany-colored, crispy skin covering juicy, tender meat. But it's a lie. The average person's turkey ends up looking more like this. Blotchy skin, uneven browning, and just sad and soggy looking. Big food media is lying to you. I should know. I've styled a lot of food photos over the last 20 years. So today, I'm going to show you a trick food stylists use to make their roast turkeys look like Norman Rockwell painted them. By painting it, I'll be using bourbon, cranberry bitters, and Boquet browning sauce for flavor, color, and plenty of alcohol that carries these flavors and pigments into the skin. You can swap Angostura for the cranberry bitters if you want. Use cognac if you're fancy that way. But the Boquet browning sauce is important for those deep brown mired colors and flavor. Now this particular recipe was developed by Nick Gavin at Chef Steps. The mixture is 80 grams bourbon with 20 grams bitters and 10 grams Boquet browning sauce. Add 2 grams of liquid soy lecithin too. It's an emulsifier that helps this elixir stain the fatty skin for even coloring and no tan lines on the bird. You should prepare your turkey however you like. Wet brine, dry brine, no brine, spatchcocked or not. You do you. In my case, this turkey was heavily salted inside and out and air dried in my fridge for a couple of days, which helps make the skin extra crispy, but isn't strictly necessary. Whatever your approach, I recommend removing the wishbone to make carving later easier. And trust the turkey if you want that classic look. I'll be using my predictive thermometer and this borosilicate glass oven that I've built to show you what's really going on in and around this bird as it cooks. Assuming your turkey is still wet, like this one, the first thing to do is dry the skin in an oven set to 250 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 20 minutes, which dehydrates the skin into the ideal canvas. This is a critical step. Uneven moisture in the skin causes uneven browning. Once the skin is dry to the touch, I'll paint the elixir all over the bird before it goes back into the oven to cook. Don't overdo it. It's just like painting. You want a nice even coat that isn't too thick. You can add more coats later as it cooks and dries to build up a darker appearance if you want. Now, back into the oven with this. My oven might say it's cooking at 250 degrees, but it's a liar. Water evaporates from the surface at 212 degrees Fahrenheit and mixes with the hotter surrounding air, creating a cool and invisible cloud of moisture around the bird. It's the temperature at the surface that food actually feels. We've just never had appliances or tools that can measure this. By controlling the surface temperature, you control the true cooking temperature. I'm aiming to hold the surface temp at around 155 degrees Fahrenheit, while cooking the core of this bird to 145 degrees. After resting, the core will reach 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which is my preference for really juicy and evenly cooked meat that's similar to sous vide cooking, but with crispy skin. If you don't have a predictive thermometer, you can use a wired probe like this to measure the temperature of the turkey just beneath its surface, and then control that true cooking temperature in your oven or smoker. Or just choose a low temperature like 200 degrees Fahrenheit and call it good enough. But whatever approach you take, don't be surprised that the cooking time is long when cooking this low and slow. That's because the flow of heat is proportional to the difference in temperature between the surface and the core. And with the surface temperature of this turkey just a bit hotter than the target doneness, the core temperature is going to rise slowly. Just like sous vide cooking, this is the price you pay for meat that's tender and juicy from surface to center. It's difficult to know the exact cooking time in these situations. The predictive thermometer can use all its measurements and its physics engine to give me a countdown to done. But you can also just take the temperature periodically and expect it to take around 4 to 5 hours for a 12-pound bird to heat all the way through. When it's done, let it rest for about an hour uncovered. The surface and the skin will cool a bit, but the true core will carry over to about 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which is my preferred doneness for the light meat. This would be a good time to finish preparing the rest of your meal, or make a cocktail with the extra bourbon and bitters. With your drink in hand, maybe go start a political conversation with your uncle to bring the family closer together this holiday season. But when it's time to eat, give the turkey a second coating of that tasty bourbon and cranberry flavored paint. Roast it in a 500 degree Fahrenheit oven for about 5 minutes to crisp the skin, set the color, and bring the meat near the surface back up to temperature. Take a look at this turkey. It's gorgeous, and it's more than just good looks. The skin is crispy and flavored with notes of cranberry, vanilla, and caramel from that magical elixir. I'll finish this turkey by dividing and conquering. After I separate the crown from the legs and thighs, I'll throw those back into the cooling oven for another 15 minutes or so until they reach 170 degrees Fahrenheit, which is perfect for succulent dark meat. And then I'm gonna eat. Oh, and one more thing. If you have a Thanksgiving-related food science question, I'll be doing my best to answer those in the comments below. And please be sure to hit that like button and click subscribe. Happy Thanksgiving!